4 months after Christian Glass was shot and killed by a Clear Creek County deputy, the county wants to form a team that might have prevented his death. The sheriff and county commissioners have agreed to form a crisis response team, mental health professionals who respond to mental health calls. That's something that the sheriff didn't think would work 2 years ago when it was recommended after another shooting involving his deputies. After 3 weeks of silence about this.
Step out of the car now.
Clear Creek County Sheriff Rick Albers released a statement Wednesday about one of his deputies shooting and killing Christian Glass. He was in the midst of a mental health crisis. We understand there is a multitude of information pertaining to the June 2022 incident, he wrote. This incident has been a tragedy for everyone. In that statement, the sheriff says his office is collaborating with the county's Board of Commissioners in the research and development of a crisis response team.
We've been talking about this for a long time. We need to get action done.
A sentiment he echoed at a county board meeting on Tuesday. It is not a sentiment the sheriff has always agreed with. Back in 2020, a grand jury reviewed another Clear Creek County shooting of a man with a history of mental health crises. The grand jury cleared the 2 deputies in the shooting death of Darren Patterson, but it also made recommendations to the county. They said Clear Creek County had insufficient resources for people with mental health problems, that the county needed to enable law enforcement with resources to respond and identify mental health resources that could be immediately available to law enforcement to help those in mental health crises.
We're having a work session to discuss mental health and enforcement.
The county commissioners and the sheriff talked about that recommendation in a meeting back in 2020.
You commissioners are familiar with are these crisis intervention teams.
At the time, Sheriff Albers shot down the idea of special responders for mental health calls.
I can see where that would work, maybe in a bigger city where they get more calls. I don't think there's a supply and demand enough to have a 24/7 crisis intervention team at this point in Clear Creek County. They'd be doing a lot of sitting around.
Nearly 2 years to the date of that meeting, after a shooting that drew international attention to his department, Sheriff Albers seems to have had a change of heart.
It's almost better to have an outside agency come in and do this.
Last summer, the county board of Clear Creek met with the commissioners in Gilpin County to talk about creating some sort of mental health responding team that the counties could share. The sheriff seemed more on board back then. But 15 months later, they are still talking about creating that team. The deputy who shot and killed Glass is back on the street while the DA reviews that shooting.